Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello.
Yes,
Hi.
loud and clear.
Hey, Matías. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you, everyone, for having me here. I was really excited and waiting for this call to speak with
Amazing.
you and the
Yeah.
rest of the community.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Well, we are really looking forward to meet you as well. Because, yeah, like, by the way, welcome to our community.
Thank you.
Here's like what we call Job na Gringa community. And as the name says by itself, it's like a place where we all like just get together to like talk about working remotely abroad or even like in person, but like working, being like a global professional, right? So, and like we constantly meet like people like you, professionals that are like a specialist or have like a very important background who can like share with us their own experience, professional experience, but also like how they help people get to their dreams. Because like even you and everyone has gone through their own path, and like even the nitty gritty details of how you got there is also really important. So thank you so much for your generosity of being here today.
Totally the opposite. Thanks to you for inviting me. I have a really good reference from you and also from my mentees about Job na Gringa and how you are sharing to your community all this knowledge and all this space for them to be a better professional, right? Because at the end, what we try to do is always be improving in any area in our lives. Let's talk about professionalism. Let's talk about in a personal things, right? In a relationship. So always we are trying to move forward to a better stage, right? To a better person, to a better version of ourselves.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's the whole goal of my job and also the whole community. Yeah, that's why it's important to bring people like you here. So, by the way, guys, like, if please let me know if my microphone. Oh, just right here. I think that's gonna work now. Just a second. I promise that's gonna be quick. Yeah, I guess that's gonna be working better now. Cool. Yeah, so Matias, here's how the dynamic works in this community. So that's basically a call. That's not like, by the way, let me pin you and me here so we can be like the main people to be viewed in here. Just a second. How do I pin myself? Just a second. Yeah, I found it here. So here's how the dynamic works. So usually we invite the person, and the person starts like presenting themselves, and let me know if my camera freezes as well, because I don't know, sometimes it's just like messed up.
It's frozen, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so let me just second. I think I'm back. Whoa. Okay, I'm gonna do with like my iPhone camera. Yeah, cool. So here's how it works. So usually you start presenting yourself, telling a little bit like about your story, and then like I will make some very classical questions that I do like to all the people that we invite here. And next we open to the community to come here, open their microphones and talk to you directly, make their own questions. So please make sure to introduce us to your background, because we may have received like a lot of people with like approximately the same background or with the same interest. So please introduce yourself, Matias.
Awesome. Well, I am, for the people that doesn't know me, I am Matias Maccaglia. I am a computer engineer, right? Since 20 years almost, I started my career from now on. I started as the mayor of you as a developer, first working with data as a data analyst, right? With structured databases and all the technology that you already know. And then I became a programmer focusing on object-oriented programming, because at that moment it was a boom, right? It was the emerging technology. Then through the pass of the years, don't ask me why, I took a project that I needed to code in COBOL. So my coworkers were older than me, but that experience lasts just 1 year, and then I moved to, as we call here in Argentina, to the dark side, to the management side, right? To have a better visibility about the product itself, right? Sometimes as a developer, we focus only in the task, the future, and what we are developing in daily basis, but we don't have the complete picture of the product. So I wanted to go beyond and move to that path, right? I work with different enterprise companies like HPE, like Avaya, that at that moment was the biggest communication company. And the last 5 years, I started working with Andela, right? Andela, for the people that doesn't know, is a talent marketplace. It was one of the top, the most top of the companies in the market, right? And then I realized that there was a future and a bunch of opportunities there to improve, right? To improve as professional, or also to improve in the roles that we are performing, right? So what they do is at the marketplace, they match professionals like you, developers from Chicago, and clients, important clients like Weather Channel, GitHub, and medium companies, right?
I think your microphone is cutting out. Is that cutting out to everyone or just for me?
Yeah, it's cutting.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe that's like just tweak. That's my microphone was like cutting out as well at the beginning, so don't worry.
I will remove.
That's way better. Thanks so much.
It's better?
Thanks so much.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that. Well,
Don't
during
worry.
this journey, these last 5 years, I realized that there are a bunch of opportunities outside that the people is not aware of, right? Let's say TopTal, let's say Andela, let's say those talent marketplace, but also some startups and other enterprise companies that can hire remotely across the globe, LATAM, and also Africa and Europe, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
that's why I realized that there were a gap between the offers that the client and what they were expecting in a role and the professionals that they were not prepared for that, right?
Mhm.
So my last 5 years, I spent my time speaking with engineers, with professionals, understanding what they were areas of comfort, areas of strengths, right? And speak with the clients to understand what they were their requirements, but also understand what are the process and the output that they expect to see in a candidate in order to join to their company, their team, or their area that they are looking for, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
during the last 5 years, I coach and I talk with more than 2,000 engineers, me and my team, because after 2 years, I became the engineer manager of the complete enterprise area. And we place more than 1,000 of engineers again in different roles, including
Oh
UX.
gosh, that's so much.
It's really, really, it's a huge number. So you can imagine the revenue and the numbers that we were managing at that time, because the contracts were for at least 12 months, right?
Mhm.
So the responsibility, so the speed, the quality were crucial to move forward in this market.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
that is translate also to the professionals, right? If you don't have a speed, if you don't have quality or time awareness, let's say, it will be difficult, or at least you will struggle landing on these opportunities.
Sure. Let me just.
Nowadays, right, I am working as a mentor, right? Honestly, my 90% of my community as a mentees come from Brazil, right? And the rest from Africa. So that's why I am really, really familiar with your community and with Brazil. And even my girlfriend is from Brazil. So, well, you know.
Yeah, that's Mariana, right?
Yes, Mariana is my mentor.
Yeah, that's my. So for you guys, I think everyone here knows Mariana Maccaglia because she's been here at the community, I think like twice. And she's like a very important person here for us because we like the whole community loves her, and every time she comes here, like a lot of people come here to see her. So yeah, very nice person to be around. Yeah, I'm very glad that she also has a nice person around. Thanks so much, like to open up like this personal aspect.
Yes, but I'm proud of that, right? And also because she is Brazilian. And honestly, the community and the professionals that you have in your country is far, far away from other countries, including Argentina at this point, right? So
Yeah,
it's amazing, the community and the level of professionalism and knowledge that you manage in daily basis.
yeah. We just try to make a place where everyone feels comfortable to talk to people like you, because you know, like most of the times, a lot of people feel afraid to talk to people like you, talk to people like Mariana, talk to like a lot of people, and sometimes they don't even have the opportunity, right? Because we all know that you guys have like a couple of hundreds of messages like each month, so that's the opportunity for us to open to the community so they can have the right questions for you guys. So here's like one first question for you, Matias, that I have on my end. So as you mentioned, like sometimes when people like, let's say like an American company, whatever, like they are looking for people in Africa or in Brazil or like in Latin America or whatever, they are looking for people, and sometimes the English matches, the experience matches, but that's not all, you know? So there's a gap in there that sometimes doesn't allow the developer to be working directly and like so, and prevents the developer to follow up on a position. So my question is, when it's not the English and when it's not like your experience, what's the gap? What's people missing usually?
There are several variables. Some of them we can control. Some of them we can't control, right? We can control, for example, they don't have a legal entity, for example, in Brazil, so they cannot hire from Brazil directly. And sometimes they realize about that later in the process. So sometimes happen that you start the interview and they could say, sorry, I cannot hire from Brazil because I cannot hire you, right, legally, right? For that cases, we have Andela, we have talent marketplace. But for the other cases, right, I will focus on the variables that we can control, right? Communication in English is a must, right?
Yes.
Is the minimum. Having, as you will hear a lot of this, make your own brand, take yourself as you were a company, take yourself as you were selling something. That's right. That's perfect. You can sell yourself as a Ferrari, let's say, or as a Lamborghini, right? But what happens if the Lamborghini has an engine of a Peugeot, for example, right? It will not run 300 miles per hour, right? It will be a Peugeot, right?
Yeah.
So there is not only what you are trying to sell, not only how you look, how well is your portfolio or your LinkedIn is perfect, right? With milestones, with achievements, numbers, quantity metrics. That is just the starting, because once you start the interview process, right, you need to demonstrate everything that you mention in your profile in your brand. So making your own brand is perfect. That is a must. It's the minimum for you to be, or as in a reactive search, right, be a show, right, in the algorithms, in the search in LinkedIn or any other page. But it's not all what you need, right? You need to go through that interview process. So in my experience, the preparation and how much you practice your storytelling, I have a phrase that less you need to think during the interview, better will be the output. Why? Because if you are focusing, oh, I did this right, or I don't know if I provide this good example, right? Or how I need to provide the example, you will not be focusing on the output that is required, right? So what was your experience? What were your challenges? What were your risks? And so on, right? So the preparation needs to be a math. It's like you were to the university and you need to take a math exam.
Yes.
What do? You practice exercise previously, right? But the thing is, which kind of exercise you will practice in order to pass that interview? You don't know, right? So one thing is the preparation. Another thing is the communication, but not only English. The communication is how you sell yourself, right? If they ask you a challenge, you will use phrase, for example. If they ask you for a situation, you will use star, right? Those are different methodologies in your speech, right? That is important. And also, it's really, really important that you understand who you are applying for. What is the industry? What is the client? Who will be the interviewer? If it is technical, not technical, if manage the same stack than you or not. So at that level, you will prepare to speak with the different stakeholders, and each one will expect a different style of communication, right? A recruiter that is not technical will not understand if you speak about that you create an MVVM architecture system to solve a problem with some transactions. They will not understand. They will understand only MVVM. Oh, MVVM, let's do the check. So at that level, it's more important for you to speak the right things, the right keywords, give the right experience examples, right? But will not be required to go deep in technical because the other person will not understand. Different is when you are speaking with the CTO or a technical leader or even part of the team that you will work together. So you need to understand and to meet, to know what is the company that you will learn. What are you trying to learn? Because it's like, I will put another example. It's like you want to pass with your girlfriend 3 or 4 hours, 9 hours per day for 3 or 4 years, right? Or at least 1 year, but you don't know who will be your girlfriend. So how do you know what to expect? So do your homework, study, and also investigate about the company and what are the mission, vision, and values to see if you are aligned to that, right? Because it's a both-side relationships. They require your skills, right, to add value to the product, to the services, and you require them to keep growing your career, to make money, to make a good community, and keep evolving in different areas, right? Basically, yeah. Go ahead.
So, sorry. I was just like, as you mentioned, like you have those points that you can study about the company, but I have a question on that, which may take us like a little bit more in depth in this rabbit hole, which is like, how do you recommend? Because that's like a very, I receive this question very often, and maybe the community wants to know that. So, what can you give us like as a advice on how I study more about this company, and how do I categorize a company like in certain ways? Like, is it like a startup? Is it like whatever? Has it like received any kind of investment? And so how do I know those things? Is that something that I should be asking on the interview? So how do I study it like to be more aware of what I should be doing?
That's a great question, right? Well, we have several tools right now in order to do that research. I think everyone is aware about AI. AI is a good source of truth, right? You have different providers, so you can compare the results. But basically, what I see when I try or when I apply to a job, or when one of my mentees apply to a job, is okay, how many years has the company in the market? They are looking forward to do an IPO. Who founded, and also who is investing on that company, right? For example, Andela, SoftBank went to Andela and backed it up for more than $200,000, right? To continue with the business. So that gives me security that is not something that will be really on the air, right? They are established, they have years of experience, they have a really good reputation, Also, another thing is what's the revenue that they manage, because that will give you the size of the structure and how much investment they are. All that information is in the web, right? Can be in the page, can be in AI, and also in LinkedIn, for example. All the sources that you have handy, take a look. Go to the design, take a look at who they are, who are working there. You can go to LinkedIn and search for that company and see who are the founders, who are the C-levels, who are the developers, what are the tech stack that they are using, and also what's the discipline design. All that information usually, right, is in the network, right, or in the AI, and you can ask with a good prompt, right, in order to do the comparison. But again, the structure, who founded, who are the professionals that work there. Another thing is go to Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a really good point, at least, to see what's the score in general things, right? General areas. Sometimes you will go there and say, okay, what's the payment for this role? And the payment will be wrong because sometimes it's in dollars, sometimes it's in peso argentino, sometimes it's in reais, right?
Yes.
But at least you will have a good points to explore and also good feedback from people that were working there.
Mhm.
And last but not least, and I apply a lot with my mentees, is contact someone that is already working there.
Amazing.
Hey, you have 5 minutes to speak with me. Can you respond this question? How many times you were working there? Why you are choosing? Why? What is attaching you there? What is keeping you excited? Those kind of questions can make a difference when you need to make the choice, right? So
Yes.
again, try to explore all the areas, right? More information you have, more insights you have from people that are real working there in daily basis and spending 9, 10, 12, 14, 20 hours sometimes per day as a developer working there. They will tell you the truth.
Yes, yeah, that's a very good source of information about I always recommend the community, like sometimes they ask us like, so how do I know this position is not like a scam? How do I know like if this company real exists and if it's like any stable at all? And when you go like to ask a real person who works in there, like a regular developer, like someone who is not like the leader, sometimes, or at least like most of the times, if they respond to you, they will tell you the truth, and they will tell you like even some stuff that are personal to them, like this works like this, they are like bankrupting, whatever. So they will give you like some information that you can really value as like a real person information. Matias, I will start open. By the way, guys, Matias, as he said, like he's focused on technology and development. So for the developers who are here right now, please help me make the right questions to Matias. Please raise your hands and start like making your own questions, because Matias is here. Like, let's use his generosity to make the right questions. So please raise your hands and start asking questions. I will open to Raquel right in a bit. I have just like one question prior to Raquel, which is like, Matias, you said like you have worked in Andela and several like other places that you were able to select Brazilians and like even people from Africa and a lot of places. So you who has like worked like you're hiring LATAM and hiring Africa, like what does make I know you are from Argentina, right?
Yes, I'm from, but live half of the time here and live half of the time in Brazil.
Nice. So very risky question to make to an Argentinian. So what does make a Brazilian special to like a American company?
First of all, you are a couple of steps ahead of Argentina in terms of exploring outside opportunities, right? And also the amount of developers that we have there, right? You are 4 times the population of what we are, right? So that statistically, you have more potential in Brazil than Argentina. But also, Brazilian, you have really good universities there. You have really good post degrees there, and also you have a really good drive and culture in terms of working with with another partner, right? It's not only the communication, as I mentioned, but the drive. You propose things, you go beyond, right? You don't get what I usually see from the Brazilian people. They don't say what with what you tell them, right? They go beyond and do the search, understand, and try to see the picture, the big picture of what they are doing, not only the task. The task works perfectly for a company that is Google, that you will not, your impact will be minimum in the revenue because, or none, right? Than working for a startup where probably an issue or an error or a bug post-release can cost millions of dollars or a lot of money to the entrepreneur or the people that is investing, right? But basically the drive that you have, the drive, you are curious, you go always asking questions. And for example, this type of communities is not emerged, it didn't emerge yet in Argentina, right? We are a little more immature in terms of these environments, trying to go beyond, right? We are more focused on the local market. And I realized about that. And well, for that reason, I opened an agency here in Argentina doing recruiting, but focus on the local market. And yes, it's more complicated and the people is not here. I would say there are amazing professionals. We have really good professionals, but we need that extra step to I don't know, to go and have more trainings, to understand more the things, how they work, and also prepare ourselves, right, for what is coming. That actually nobody knows what's coming, right? With AI, quantum computer, and all the things, right? We are in like, we don't know for which path we should take, right? That
yes. By the way, I'm gonna be asking you about AI in a short. So let's please, Raquel, and by the way, just remember everyone here in this call. Here's a call where you raise your hand and ask anything to Matias. And he is here. Like, please, let's grab all the suggestions he can give us. Please feel free to ask anything. There's no dumb questions, right? So
one more thing that is more is the most important thing is the social responsibility that Brazilian people have with the other co-workers and the community, like you. I never contact a Brazilian professional and I don't receive an answer asking something, right? Amazing. That is the commitment that you have with your profession and also with the people, right? This combination is really important because at the end, always, or we take the role as a mentor in some moments on our career, right? That is one of the most important things that I see in your community.
Yeah, thanks so much for this. And so right now we are going to open to Raquel to ask us a question. Please, Raquel, open your. As far as I remember, Raquel has like a very amazing English. So please go ahead.
I hope so. Hi, Matias.
Hi, Raquel.
Thank you for what you've told us so far. Things about how to identify a possible scam was very useful because that's a pain point of mine. The fear of not knowing what this company is, especially small companies. But I would also like to ask you. Sometimes the job opening, it comes from an independent recruiter. And sometimes they have emails like a Gmail accounts. And I know a lot of them are real, but it's do you have any pointers to how to identify the real ones? Because some are very obvious, like some list a lot of big companies. Oh, I'm hiring for Amazon, Microsoft, IBM. That's so blatant. But sometimes it's hard to know.
Very
Those
good.
cases, Raquel, for sure that they are scam, right? If they are an independent recruiter and they are working with Google or Meta, that it doesn't exist, right? In the market, it doesn't exist. The Google and Meta, they usually use something in the middle, intermediate, that is a company and structured as a company, right?
Mhm.
That they can, this company that can represent in a legal side, right, to Google, right? And every problem, legal problem, will stay in the company and not go through Google, right?
You mean that for big companies, right? Big tech.
For big companies, right? But the other way, in order for you to do the research, right? Usually these type of positions are also open in the real page of the company, right?
Mm.
If you have a doubt, right, and you know what will be the client that they are recruiting for, right? You go directly to the source, right? To see if there are some open. Other way, that is the easiest way, go to Gemini, go to ChatGPT and ask, please tell me about this job description with this recruiter, all the story and and if this position really exists with a good prompt, right? But if this really exists, and you will see if that position appears in other portals, on other recruiters or other pages, right? More than this recruiter, because this is not the opportunities are not given to only one recruiter, right? And even if it is an independent one, right? Usually 4, 5, or 2 or 3 agencies has the same open position, so you can research there. If the only person that is opening that position, let me down, right? For that reason, I always encourage to all my mentees to do this research previously. We go through that and we investigate together, but don't share any GDPR information. Let's say, no, don't share any personal information to them, more than the email, and if you want, the phone number, because if they want to contact you with the email, is enough, right? Or through LinkedIn. So in my previous company, we had some scam issues, right? Where there were some interviewers that stole information from the bank accounts from the professional. But it's because they run a script or they open their portfolio and they share some crucial information. So just to make it short, don't share any personal information and go to the source, go to the page of the company and take a look there if the position is open. If you cannot find, go to the ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and ask all the information about that particular job opportunity. And based on that, you will have an idea. And also take a look at the history of the recruiter. That is also really important, right? And you will notice if it is a scam that always follows the same patterns.
Yeah,
You
amazing.
mean LinkedIn history?
Sorry?
You mean the LinkedIn history?
The LinkedIn history, right? And also search for them in the network, right?
Mhm.
If they are really recruiters, you will see a history about what they were posting, and also you can speak with other professional or ask if someone knows this guy, right? That's why the community is really important, right? And the professional, the social, the professional helping also is important as well, right?
Yes.
So-
By the way, guys, like here in the community on our Discord channel, there's a sorry about the wording right now, Matias, but there's a place that we call Jobs Arrombados. So that's a place where you like should be, where that's open for you guys to make like any question about like any recruiter, any job, anything that's like related to something that you find suspicious, even like jobs that you may find inside our platform, please just post in there and ask the community, like, is this like a real thing? Like, can I trust this person, and etc. This kind of stuff may help you guys have some, like any kind of things that you should be targeting.
Gabo, this is really good information for me as well. So I will request it after the call to send me that, because it will be really useful for me and also for my mentees as well.
Sure, yes. Yeah, by the way, you're welcome inside the community. I'm not sure if Mariana is there, but like we have like some other recruiters in there, and like that's always good to have some professionals in there, because some people sometimes they just need like some specialists to give them like some mentorship and this kind of stuff. And we don't provide mentorship, we just like provide like information. Sometimes they need like someone who get their hands and guide them through their path. Matias, I have a question. By the way, guys, please help me make the right questions, to like development questions to Matias, because as you guys know, I'm a designer. I don't know how to make like development questions, so I try to make those. Matias, what is your view about what AI is becoming and what AI is doing in the market? Have you like noted anything that has changed at all, something like that?
Well, in the market right now, what is most required about the AI and the machine learning are the trainers, right? There are a bunch of positions now that you will see that they require at least some knowledge in some particular language, or real language like Spanish, Italian, French, right? That they train the machine learning and the agents, right? In order to get more information and correct or not the answers that they give, right? That's the most common role that is in the market right now, with 150 positions each time that they open, because it's by volume, right? But also it's required machine learning developers, data scientists, and so on. But it doesn't exclude the rest of the roles, right? Now on, if you are a developer and you don't use anything related to AI, you will get rusty and you will get behind the market, right? I am not saying that you need to do everything in AI, but support your work in AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are a bunch of right now frameworks to work. One is that the one that they use, right? You can tell me that they are better, but the one that I like it is Cursor, for example. I install Cursor and I create some real systems, right? Even I am not programming the last 10 years, and I was capable to create all the architecture, right? Knowing at least the design, the architecture design, back-end, front-end, and choosing what are the technologies. Sorry about that, I have my cat here.
Don't worry.
But you need to know at least, or to manage at least in a deeper way, right? Understand how it works, the AIs that are in the market. Let's say, well, we have Copilot, we have Gemini, we have, I don't know if you went further, but there are some OpenAI APIs that you can consume with credits, right? And test them there and include them in your own systems, right? And well, Windsurf is another good. But the trend of the market is everyone needs to manage AI and at least consume some APIs that are from AI, right? Agents, air workflows, for example, and so on.
Yes, because by the way, guys, like, come on, I am a designer and I use myself like some APIs of some LLMs and this kind of stuff. So come on, everyone should know about this. Yeah, so Matias, I have a question about, like, as you said, you are a mentor. And I have a question about like what does a mentor do exactly? What is like this coaching, or I don't know, like how you train people? How does this process work exactly? Because some people may not know what like being a mentor in this kind of career coaching, I'm calling it like this way, how it works exactly. So, and I myself, I have no clue how that works. So if you could like give us like an introduction of how it is.
That's great. Perfect. My mentorship, or what I do, right, is try to provide the guideline and bring support, right, through all this journey, right? Sometimes from the beginning, right, there are people that they don't know what are the pages where you can find these job opportunities until, right, they get selected. Through all that journey, that path, you have different stages, like a video game, right? The first stage will be the recruiter. How will you pass the interview with the recruiter? What are the areas that you need to focus, right? And if we go back even one step behind, what they want to see, right? A recruiter, let's say that is a human recruiter than me, right? Like me. And I need one engineer, let's say a backend engineer in Python. And I start looking at LinkedIn. That is the main source that they have, because I am external. I don't have the access to the community, for example, like an Andela. And in 15 seconds, I want to scrap or to scan your CV. If your CV is not aligned, at least with the keywords that I am looking for and the experience, I will discard it, right? And I will move forward with another one. But that happened in 15 seconds. Because I need to scan 100 of profile, right? Because it's a funnel. Let's say that I contact 100 professionals, only 50 replies to me, only 30 has experience that I am looking for, and only 10 are aligned with all the expectations. So you will see.
What is that? Sorry, I think Hadimila, are you trying to say something? Sorry. Oh, I thought. Sorry. The interruption, Matias. Sorry.
No problem. I thought that it was a question as well. So I am practicing my Portuguese. So this 2026 became one more.
That's one will be in Portuguese.
Try. I will bet you. I will be prepared for that one. So
or in Spanish. Let's see.
Or in English, yeah, or both, right? A Portuguese, English. So they, first of all, they need to understand what they want to sell, what are the skills, and need to be aligned, right? It needs to be consistent, right? And you need to understand what the recruiter is trying to look at your profile, right? This is the first stage. If you don't understand that, you will not be or contacted, or you will not pass any AI or any recruiter filter. So that's the first step. The second step will be, okay, how to talk with a recruiter, what they are looking for me to say. Perfect. Let's say that we move forward to a live code challenge, right? Live code challenge is not a real life situation, because as a developer or as a designer, you are not creating a new page, right, with your boss here behind you and say, no, this is right, this is wrong, move this. No, it's not a real life situation, and everyone complains. But if you put yourself in the client's shoes, you will understand that they are not looking for a real experience like that. They are looking how you work under stress, because it's really stressful. That's hour or 2 hours, right?
Yeah. So the awkwardness in here is like 100% intentional.
Yes, totally. And sometimes the developers complains, but it's a reason for that, right? What you show, how you work under stress, how you take what are the situation, right? And what you try to resolve, right? The problem solving understanding, and also how you communicate with the interviewer and how you interact in order to come to the right solution. So those are the three pillars that they evaluate in that live code challenge, right? It's not the code itself. They will see how you structure, how you use the pattern, how you use, if you need to use a closure, for example, right? What it is, and so on. But also they will evaluate in those three pillars that are important, right? And that's the reason of why almost all the companies or recruiting process involves at least a live code challenge or a home test assignment that you need to defend, and so on. So at that stage, I prepare them, right, in order to understand what they can expect in those evaluations and how they need to tackle them, right? How they need to position themselves, what are the right questions that they need to ask, how they will defend it, what they develop, and why. It's really important that you have a product mindset. And let's say that
do you mock this experience? Like do you?
Totally. Yes.
Oh, so it's like you do like the real thing with them.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
cool. Yeah,
I prepare a document and a set of, because in my mentorship, we create an action plan and a roadmap to follow the steps, right? Based on the skills and also the strengths and gaps areas that the mentee has, right? Let's say English, let's say communication, let's say a particular, I don't know, big O notation, for example, is famous now, right? 50% of the job descriptions are requiring big O notation, and I think only 5% of this the developer community use it in daily basis, but they are requesting that, right?
Yes.
So the idea is to provide all the guidelines. I provide a document that we work together, we prepare together with all the situational questions and also conceptual questions, fundamental questions, and so on that they can expect, right? So we work together, we align in the output that they require, and then we go and mock the interview as I were the interviewer, right? And I ask the questions, and I ask, why? Why did you use an array here if you are also able to use a dictionary? What is the reasoning behind that? And we go through deep in technical or deep in project management situational questions, depending the role, right? Basically, that's the idea. And in the last stage, right, let's say the final boss, right, in the video games, is always the CTO or the hiring manager or someone.
A literal boss.
Exactly, boss, right? The boss of the boss. So they will expect something different from the previous stages, right? So that's why it's important for you to recognize what are the stakeholders that you are speaking out, and based on that, you will provide the relevant information for each of the stages. In each of the stages, you will have the preparation, the document, and also you will see that one time you understand each stage of the final and interview process, right? And this is not, sorry, but this is not something that I invented, right? There is a methodology that is called PAN, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, right? These are the pioneer companies that implement this process, and then was spread to startup, to other enterprise companies. That's why sometimes it's complicated, and it's being more complicated every time that it passes, right? Because they are adding more and more knowledge, tools, frameworks that works above other frameworks like Next.js that work with React.js, that work with JavaScript, and so on, right? So every time it's more complicated, and the interview process is getting worse, right? But because they want to really, really evaluate the candidate that they are bringing to their company.
Perfect.
So, the last stage, let's say that you receive the offer, it's not the same that you go to the recruiter. Oh, now I am earning $2,000. I would like to earn $2,500.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask, like about the negotiation and how that works.
Exactly. But that's perfect. You will earn $500 more than previous. But what happens if the recruiter has $5,000 to offer you? You will leave in the table $2,500. Right? So that's because of poor negotiation. So you need to understand the fair market rate, what's your value in the market, right? That is the fair market rate, and what are the pay values, right? the pay bands that they have, if they are not aware, for every role at the company, from junior to mid-level to senior to specialist to principal or whatever, they have a pay band that they cannot go through the limits, right? They cannot pay less than that, and they cannot pay more than that. So you need to be aware about that in order to go and request the salary. Because if you are outside, you will be discarded. If you are less, you will be underpaid. And how much time do you think that you will last in that job, knowing that your coworkers earn more than you for the same responsibilities and tasks?
Yes.
Basically, that's the complete mentorship, and through on we learn together new things, right? Okay, cache memory. What are the different algorithms for cache memory, right? How you will handle millions of transaction requests, right? Why, I don't know, Nubank and Quinto Andar use Closure instead of other languages, right? Those are real examples, speaking with my mentees and community people, and sometimes they don't know why you are using Closure. No, because my company, Nubank, is using. Okay, but do you know that it's the best language for fintech or banking, that all the values and the variables are immutability, so you will never lose the trace, always you can go back. Those things, right, you need to be aware. The same if you use a framework, if you use React. But what is vanilla JavaScript? What happened behind the React is a library, right? But let's say React, Vue.js, so because it has an ID. What happened behind scenes, right? Why, when you put point something in your framework, gives you this, right? So there is a function or a class behind that, and you need to understand, right? So don't stay with what the market offer. Always try to understand why the thing happens, right? If you control what happened, you will control the output, right? And you can work in any other framework.
Yes. And I think, like, also, I will just open to Raquel in a bit, but I also need to point out that I think when you even that this kind of advice goes like maybe to most of people who already work in like big companies in Brazil, because we have two choices in a country like Brazil to make money in the tech market. The first one is working like for a very big company inside our country, like Nubank or Inter or Quinto Andar, etc. Or you can work abroad, work for international companies, which, in my opinion, I think it's the place where you make more money. But that's another topic. But what I mean is that, like, when you work for a big company inside Brazil, you work like inside a department most of the times. You are just like one ant inside like a whole big place, and sometimes I think you should be just taking a look on the high level stuff, as Matias just mentioned. Like, when you look into the high level stuff there that like makes sense to the business as a whole, and not like to the regular stuff that you currently do as an operational person, that's what I think people will look to you. Like, small companies abroad, like in the United States, will look to you and will see you as a strategic person, because you just like know a little bit more than the average. And I will say more, like, I've seen Matias, like I've seen like some high level experienced developers from working like from big companies in Brazil, getting an offer as like a CTO of a very small company like in United States, just because they have like a very high level knowledge about technology. And guys, like, you shouldn't be underestimating companies, because sometimes it's like a company of like 10 people, 15 people who got like an investment of like $10 million, and they need to hire someone, and that can be you, in case like the high level stuff of how you should be structuring technologies and this kind of stuff. So you need to know the high level, the business stuff, so you can get those kind of opportunities, and they are not like too few opportunities. We have like quite a lot, and Matias knows about that. So I have another question regarding juniors, but first let's please open the mic for Raquel. Please, Raquel, make your question.
Okay, thank you. I was going to wait for the developers to make their questions, but they're not making questions. You're lost, guys.
Yeah, come
I
on.
am making my question.
Come on.
So a little background here. I was a software developer until about 10 years ago, and then I made a career change to business analyst. And about a year ago, I was let go of the company I was working for. So I was looking for a job, and I mean, I was unemployed, so I wanted to open my horizons, and I considered not going back to software development because I fell behind. I don't know any of the modern languages, but I didn't lose touch with QA, sorry, because even as a business analyst, I wrote acceptance criteria, I did functional testing. So I felt that it was something I could also look for a job in this area. And it's something I really like it. So when looking for a job, a remote job abroad, I don't see many openings for a business analyst. I may be looking at the wrong places, or I may not be using most optimal searches, but I don't see many. And I know you don't have a crystal ball. You can't tell me for sure what's going to work and what won't. But in your opinion, from what you feel of the market, do you think I should invest more in QA, like studying automation, playwrights, and other refreshing my JavaScript, which is something I still know how to do, so I can easily go back to there, instead of focus more on QA and not on business analysts?
Well, it's a good question. It's a really good question. I will respond like, mathematical thinking, right? Let's say you have one business analyst per 20 other roles in the structure, right? Because the business analyst focus do the acceptance criteria, do the chart flows, the control flows, and so on. And also work with the product owner, right? And nowadays, together work in order to define all the guidelines for the product that you are developing. But for one business analyst, you have 20 developers and even more, and sometimes they skip that position, right? It's a product owner that goes and do that part of the analysis. And also speaking about QA, I think it's just my opinion, right? I think the role of the QA will disappear, at least as it is in nowadays, right? Because everything is automated, right?
Yeah.
All the code. To maintain a good quality of the code, you need to go at least with the unit test coverage, more than 80% of the code coverage, right? So what that means, that I need at least in the each acceptance criteria or each task, you already know how it performs because you automatically test it, right? Then you have the testing suites that probably, if it is a big product, it will run during the weekend, 24/2 days run in the suite, right? And capturing all the bugs. So now the manual testing, I don't know if you were looking and try to search in the web for those positions, are less and less. Why? Because also the developer needs to test their own code. And now you speak with the developer and they know what is an integration test, what is a regression test, what is a mock test, and all the different tests that they need to perform, right? So If I am the product owner and I want to reduce cost, this is my opinion, and this is also because I did it, right? I did it in my project that I am releasing the MVP this week. Even I have one of my co-founders here in this company, in this call, but I didn't hire a QA. What I did, I requested my developer to maintain a good code, right? And also perform the test by myself as a product owner and see how they integrate and so on. And I request the same to my developer. So my developer, that was one of my mentees, the best one of the best ones, that I hired him to work in this product, right? And to release this product, right? And he was the developer, he was the QA, and also a big part of that was automated with unit tests and also automated tests in the suite. So that's why you will see less business analysts and less QA in nowadays. If I need to recommend something and you want to be in the same path, right, as a QA or as a business analyst, I recommend you to go for a product owner position, right? Because the business analyst, you already have. The stakeholder communications, you already have experience. How the developers work, you have the experience. How do you integrate UX, UI team with the developers, you already have it. So the next step in your career is to prepare to be a product owner or a product manager.
Amazing.
I don't know if I respond to your question.
No, you did. Thank you.
Yeah, and by the way, thanks so much for sharing your view on that, Matias, because as you mentioned like several times, that's your opinion, and we really value that's like why you come here to give like your opinion, your world view on the thing. So we thank you so much for bringing that. So we have like another question here from, by the way, Matias, when we reach like 1 hour of our call, that's up to you. Like when you need like to leave like the call, please feel free to leave the call, and like we totally respect the generosity of the people we invite. So just say bye and we all will understand. So
no problem. I block my agenda. I am an organized guy, so I block my agenda.
Amazing. Yeah. So thanks so much for that, by the way, because we really want to like just use the best as we can the time that we of those people who invite. So please, John, open your mic and bring on your question, please.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, great. Thanks for the opportunity, Gab, Matias, and all the people that are here. It's my first time interacting with this community. It's nice,
welcome.
And my question is pretty simple. According to the experience of Matias in the recruitment field and previously in the IT field, I would like to know if, because I am from the project management field, and I would like to know is there a preference for candidates with a technical or IT background, or if is there also room for professionals who have a specialization in project management but come from a non-IT background like me around the world? Because sometimes I feel that most of the job opportunities that I'm looking for in the last weeks, they more suitable for technical people, and I have a specialization in project management as well, but sometimes I'm not seeing that people are giving some opportunities to people like me that have this background a little different from the technical people that the field is currently dealing with in the natural way of work daily. Yes. I hope I made myself clear.
Totally. Well, I have one example. One of my mentees come from a civil engineer, right? But he certified in the PMP and also is in this call supporting me. So thank you very much. He took the MVP with an agile approach, right? And also I am training him, involving him, for example, in my projects to at least start having, right, the understanding of how Jira needs to be structured, some conceptual things like what is a bug, what is a technical debt, what is a sprint, how to calculate the sequence, if it is Fibonacci or not, right? But if you ask me as a hiring manager, if I need to choose from one that comes from another industry and another that comes from the industry that I am, industry, I mean IT, right? IT, I will choose the one that comes from IT. Why? Because that person doesn't have all the technical knowledge, but at least understand and has a practical way to estimate the things and also to negotiate with your team, right? If you're negotiating something that you don't understand, for sure that your team will pass through you, right? So you need to make sure you understand what you are controlling or what you are managing, right? In order to expect the right results. Don't overpromise and don't less promise, right? That is part of the triple constraint: quality, time, and budget. Understand? So for that reason, you need to at least start studying, right? Or start going through what are the terminology, at least the terminology about this. Is if they are talking about a framework, if they are talking about a, I don't know, a class, a function, a technology, a keyword, like, I don't know, React, AWS, a cloud service provider, you need to understand what those are concepts, right? In order to know who will be working on what, and also what they will be doing, right? And what is done in each of those technologies. Again, it's not something that you will not get the job opportunity, but you will not go to a senior technical project manager position. Probably you will be a more managing project management position, or a mid-level, or something that the responsibilities are less, in order to at least start growing in that area.
Okay, great. Thanks for to clear all that thing out. Okay.
Amazing.
I don't
Yeah.
want to block you or frustrate you, right? It's possible, totally possible with the preparation, but you need to understand at least the terminologies and how the environment works, right?
Okay, great. Actually, I have some experience in the field, and I have been working in the tech field for the last 5 years, and I'm very familiar with all the terminologies and all things that, because I like the idea of technology as well. I have a second post-graduation course in data analysis. So right now I'm working on this kind of gap, I would say. And then, and of course, I'm considering here some mid-level, or some here in Brazil, I am senior right now, but I'm considering some mid-level position, like an analyst or something like that, because I think that would suit more my current idea in terms of, make my skills interesting for the American or European market or something like that. But thank for all the clarification.
Awesome, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, by the way, thanks so much, Matias, for being like highly detailed and to be like very frank and very honest on your opinions, because that's what we want to hear. Like, a lot of people like just come here and try to give like everyone good news and sell like a dream, and we don't want that kind of shit. We just want people to tell us the truth, for God's sake. So so right now I have like another question from Manuel Campos. So please, Manuel, open your mic and welcome.
Hello, guys. Thank you for this meeting. Thank you, Gabe and Matias. I think I have a situation like Raquel's, because I'm trying to migrate to make a career change. I'm a professor. I have been working as a tech professor for more than 20 years, and I'm trying to migrate to the international software industry. But for me, it's been really tough, because when recruiters see my CV, they just see me as an academic, And despite I even have a PhD in computer engineering, I'm having a really hard time getting interviews. And despite I work and teach a lot of different technologies, mainly I'm a backend developer working with Java for almost 15 years, teaching a lot of different subjects, but and even creating complex softwares like libraries, frameworks, but they are different kind of of software that the international market is needing. International market is concerned in creating user applications for final users, not this kind of tools that I have been creating for a lot of years. But I have a lot of skills. I see that, and I'm a fast learner. And my question is, how can I position myself for recruiters and companies so that they can see this broad experience and that I can be a really good asset for their teams.
Got it. Okay, it's a good question, but I don't have your CV, right? What are those technologies or programming languages that you use that are not used in the rest of the market?
What technologies I use, which are used in the rest of market? Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, Java,
you are
JavaScript.
using Java already, right?
Yeah. 15 years of Java and TypeScript, even React. I don't consider myself a full stack developer, but I have really great skills working with React. I don't understand nothing about CSS or design.
So you're
Just
mostly a backend, is that right?
yeah, backend, yeah. So, but React for me is object-oriented programming. Most of the parts is just object-oriented programming. So it's really easy for me to understand and to write JavaScript and TypeScript code with React. But this lack of market experience is leaving me behind, and we see there the market is there is a lot of professionals out there, and we have sometimes a company opens a position and within hours there are hundreds of applicants, and
Yeah.
this is really difficult. The market is really tough currently.
Yeah, that's a very, very classical question, by the way, Matias, because I constantly receive, by the way, I don't have any graduation at all. And I've been working like, I guess, like comfortably for like abroad I think I just didn't have any kind of blocking on not having like a graduation. However, I constantly receive those kinds of challenges that Manuel is passing right now, which is like he has like a high level knowledge of academic knowledge, but also like a lot of practical knowledge as well. How does this person like try to shift their career and sell themselves as like no longer being looking just academic, but also like something else that's like can put hands on the table and work like on practical stuff for not that you don't not that you don't work, Manuel, but you got the idea. Like the idea is like to sell yourself as like the practical.
Yeah.
I have only one question. Do you have experience working for a software factory, for a fintech, for a banking as a programmer, or only as a
n-
teacher or as a coacher? Or
working for a company, I worked 2 decades ago using a lot of different technologies. But I work as a professor, and here we develop some projects with students for companies, usually state companies. And yeah, we have some. Despite these applications, they don't require, for instance, scalability or something like that, because they just have a bunch of users. So it's not high scale applications, and maybe this is the most difficult part, because when we apply for a job, abroad. Usually international companies are facing scalability issues, and they need professionals that have experience with that. And in fact, I don't have, but I have a lot of other skills, and I don't understand how the market can't see that.
Well, that's right. What you are lacking is, Cesar, did you mention something? No.
No.
What you are lacking is demonstrate your experience in the field, right? Because you always a teacher and so on.
Yeah.
Well, that part is a little complicated because you need to ensure, right, that in your profile, right, in what the recruiters see your experience, right, as a developer working in different projects. So what I can recommend to you, have a good GitHub portfolio with some open projects there for them to take a look. Not that
I have that, but they are different projects, usually libraries and frameworks. So
another way is put those clients, final clients, in your LinkedIn, right? As they were companies, and final destination is for your product, right? In order to prove your experience. But what you're mentioning is right. If I see someone that was 15 years only teaching or working as a teacher, for me it's a no-go, because as you mentioned, you don't have experience in a scalable project, right? Or working with multicultural teams or with teams backend. If you are backend, you need to work with the front end if the team is divided, right? But also you need to work with the infra or DevOps, and also you need to work with database managers or anyone else, right? So you need to demonstrate that experience, because it's not that you know Java, it's how you interact with all the people involved in the product, right? You as a teacher, you have something that most of the developers doesn't have. That is the communication. The communication in terms of how you explain the things and why you need to do that, right? Because your mentees or the how do you say, the alumnus?
Yes,
right?
The students,
Students, yes. Learn from you. So that means that they understand, right, what you are explaining. And you need to use a vocabulary, right, depending the level of the student, right? You have in first year, second year, third year, or probably you have in different stages of their career. That gives you a good skill, that is communication and coaching, teaching, right? But doesn't give you the experience. So my suggestion is you, right, put your home, your working clothes, right, and you reach the companies offering, right? You need to be more active than a common developer. You need to go to the source, contacting them, right? Contact the CTO if it is a startup. Contact the recruiter. Hey, I saw that you opened this. I have this experience. I don't know, how can I show you better, probably, my experience in other areas. This is how I work. So you need to take the first step sometimes and go there. And why not create a scalable product? Use Cursor, right? Use Cursor and design a product that probably will help you, using an agent, using whatever, and that will be part of your portfolio, and you will put it as an experience, and you will sell that product. That will give the complete picture, right? Even if that product is sold at the end or not, but you build it, and it's there, and it's alive.
Great.
Using a good architecture, use microservices, use tokens, right? The token, the credential. Use, you mentioned about scalability. Now, if you don't know big O notation, you will not probably do a well thing, scaling your system if you are a backend, right? And also be good in the algorithm part and data structure. You need to be extremely good. Extremely good. You need to understand. Let's go to a quick example. an array. Which is faster, an array or a dictionary when you need to save the data?
To
Who is
save
faster? Huh?
to save the data.
To save the data.
Yeah, if we don't need to resize the array, saving inside the array is faster.
The array, right? But when
Yeah.
you need to retrieve, for example,
When you need to look up, if you need to use a linear lookup, the tree is faster.
exactly. Well, those concepts, right? You need to demonstrate that you use,
Yeah.
and also in part of the interview process, right?
Yeah.
The why, right? Because in the details you make the difference. Because you say, okay, 1 byte, 2 bytes, that's okay. I have teras and teras. But what happens if you have 2,000 transactions per day? Those 2 bytes
Yeah.
are not 2 bytes, right? They convert
Yeah.
into there and so
Yes.
on.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
if you contact me later, I will take a look at your profile and give you
Great.
some tips in order to align and to make it consistent to demonstrate your experience.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're
Yeah.
welcome, man.
Thank you, Manuel, for placing your question. Thank you so much for collaborating. So we're gonna go to Murilo now, and after I'm gonna ask you, Matias, about like after Murilo, I'm gonna ask you a little bit more about your mentorship, and I have like a specific question, like about, is that for juniors? Is that like for any seniority in specific? We will get to that, but let's go to Murilo first. And please, Murilo, make your question. And guys, Murilo is going to be like the last one for today. So thanks so much for everyone who collaborated here. Please go ahead, Murilo.
Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Matias. Matias, I'm a structured guy. What can you say about this market? I ask you because I can see a lot of opportunities in DevOps career. Is it real? Is this real? DevOps is the way when we're talking about, for example, to work to foreign companies, or is there another way to follow this career infrastructure?
Let me rephrase you. You come from infra, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect. And you are asking me about if the market trend is still getting or hiring those roles, right?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. That's
The
it.
answer is yes. Yes. But you need to know not only on-prem, because the old infra guy was on-prem, the server. Sometimes you have a computer here and you do everything from your room with the CPU with 1,000 of memory RAM, right, and space. But now you need to know AWS, GCP, Oracle, right? I don't know, Amazon, AWS, right? You need to understand those cloud server providers, right? Why? Because nobody else wants to deal with a catastrophe or with the data integrity loss or with bad performance or problems with the integration of the data and so on. So to resolve all those problems, but you need to still knowing what are the services that you need to consume. If you will use a S3 bucket, for example, what are the databases that run there? Postgres, why not? Right? How to implement the CI/CD? Those things, right? There are not responsibility from the backend developer. Those are responsibilities of the infra guy, of the DevOps guys, of SRE, for example, server reliability engineer, right?
Yeah.
So these are still on demand. And why? Because a good DevOps can reduce a bunch of costs in terms of operations, right? So they are on demand and they will keep on demand at least, right, for these following years, right? They will not change. But again, for one infra guy, you have 10, 15, 20 developers, 4 or 5 QAs. So in terms of statistics, you need only one DevOps for multiple projects, right? You will be monitoring and following the KPIs for all the projects, right? So in terms of number, it's less required, but because of the role, is less required in the projects, right?
Okay,
But
okay.
keep on the track, keep learning, and also try to be multi-platform, right? Sometimes you will find some project that they use multi-platform, AWS and GCP, or they are migrating. So you need to understand what are the parallel systems that they have, because they are similar but different, right? But you need to know how they are related, or at least what are the service here that is similar here, right?
And
Certification in these providers can help me, for example.
Sorry? Yes, of
Certification
course.
in this
For the DevOps,
in these providers.
Yes, this is really important. For the DevOps, the certification in the cloud service provider are important, because if you will be specialized in an SRE or a DevOps, right? Several of the job descriptions require at least a certification in the provider that they are looking for.
Okay, good. Muchas gracias.
De nada.
And yeah, look, Murilo speaking Spanish, amazing. And yeah, so I don't know much as a designer. Don't know much about like DevOps and infrastructure, this kind of stuff. But what I know is that like AI is growing out there, and as far as I know, people need those guys to manage those kind of information. And yeah, so that's all I know about what's going on right now.
Now everything is happening there. Even Jira and tracking tools are in AWS, GCP, so it will be a huge ecosystem that everything will happen there. They are integrating even more with and developing more functionalities out there.
Yeah, and by the way, for those of you guys who are not developers, that's important to notice that like comparing to developers, it's not all the time like a reasonable comparison to make, because developers they are needed like everywhere. Like if you are a front-end developer, you just have like 200,000 jobs out there for you right now. But if you're like a I don't know, a manager or like a infrastructure person or a designer, that's like a few less. That's not impossible, because I've seen like, and Matias has seen like as well, like a lot of very strange things that may come up as a job position, but we cannot compare with like developers. They are just like everywhere. Matias, right now we are coming up to finishing our call, to the end of our call, but I would like you to introduce a little bit your mentorship. And the question that I was about to make is like, what is the minimal seniority for your mentorship? Like, if I'm a junior, like, should I come to talk to you? If I'm an entry level, should I talk to you if I like have any kind of doubts about like how I should be introducing myself to the companies and etc. So what is the minimal requirements to go to talk to you and get your service in a very productive way?
I will change your question a little bit, and I will change it of what is the minimum required to apply for a outside position, right? For a position, international position that is not an interim.
Yes.
Well, in order to, I try to mentee someone that is from IT ecosystem, right? And has a good English level, at least to speak and to communicate, right? And also to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to have at least 3 years of experience. Why? Because the minimum required in years of experience from the clients, at least in the 95% of the job opportunities, is 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
For the people that has less than 3 years, I will not say that you will not find a position, but it will be less probably that you find it, right? And if you find it, you will go as an interim. And as an interim, you will not earn more than $1,000 or $1,500, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why my recommendation is at least you need to have 3 years of experience to apply for a position, right? Or at least to my mentorship, because in that way I can at least ensure, let's say, if we do the things right and we do step by step, you will land to the opportunity that you are looking for, right? I cannot promise something that I cannot. I know that it's not probably that we will get it at the end of the time.
But like, if I'm as you said, like from the IT background, but for example, I'm a developer or I'm like a product manager, can I reach out to you as well? Like,
of course, yes. I have two right now, two mentees. They are project managers, right? Well, one got a job opportunity in Revelo. I think you are familiar with Revelo, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes. So, well, he got an opportunity there. He was a junior project manager, right? But he was a developer 2 years. So, with all that that experience, plus working with me in the X-Profile system that we created, that we are going to release this week, he got all the experience that he required. He applied it and he got the job, right? But he was outstanding. He was a really good professional with an English level that was really good. So those are edge cases that I compromise to work together, right? But I need to evaluate in a deeper way the candidate in order to come to me, because what is my output? My output is that you get the job opportunity, right? For you to get the knowledge on how to pass interviews and to understand the market, to understand how to grow in your career and what are the competencies that you need to have, right? And those put in paper in order to follow it and to land in the job offer. But if I see that we will struggle because of something, right? I prefer to say, okay, please prepare on this, take a look on this, on this, and then you call to me and we will review again based on your progress, right?
Perfect.
For me, again, my win is that you get the job offer, right? We close the mentorship, and that's a perfect way to end the relation, right? And then you will see that once you get it, once you pass and you understand the process, you will not need it anymore. You will be prepared for any other job opportunity now on or 30 years from now, right?
Yeah. So how do people get in touch with you? Like, is that like through LinkedIn? How, like, do you we're gonna post your LinkedIn on our Discord channel, but for sure. And like, is that through LinkedIn?
Yeah, through LinkedIn. Well, once we are in touch there and we have our call and we want to proceed, I use my personal phone number that for mentees to be in touch there, right? Perfect. Directly, one-to-one, and not using LinkedIn where I have a bunch of other mothers that I'm not related to my mentorship.
Amazing. Yeah. And just for you to know, like, I will add you as inside our platform as well. We have like a where we have like Mariana in there as well. So like a place where we have like just a grid of everyone who we suggest to get in touch. So we are gonna place you in there. And such a nice person you are, Matias. Thank you so much for joining us today, and like all your generosity on like sharing all your knowledge and your sincerity. This is so important to the not to only this call here, because this is like currently being transmitted on YouTube and also on LinkedIn. So thanks so much. I'm sure you have shared like such very good amount of information and high level of information. And Mariana has raised her hand. Now she has to speak for sure. I don't care. You're forced.
I'm sorry. I was trying to clap and then I just pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, and so I'm really glad that Mariana is here as well, and you accepted our invite to come here, Matias. So thanks so much for accepting that, and feel free to come back here whenever you will. So
awesome. Thank you, Gabo. It's a really good experience for me. So thank you for taking me here and giving your time. Well, just a couple of real quick tips just to end this this part of the call is always try to be oh, I forgot the word in English. Try to be confident, right? Once you go to an interview, details matter. You have only 1 hour or 30 minutes, 15 minutes for them to know you. So be confident, right? Be friendly, go well dressed, right?
Yes.
Demonstrate respect to the people that you are speaking, right?
You are building a relationship, right?
Exactly. You are building a relationship, and that same person you will see it in daily basis in your work. So be confident, be respectful, showing time, always showing time, at least 5 minutes earlier, right? Because if you have any problem or any connection issue, you have time to solve it and be on time. Those details, little details that you say, oh, I can be late. No, those details matter. And once you need to choose between 1, 2, 3, or 4 engineers, the details will make the difference, and you will be selected. So be confident and also try to enjoy the moment and to learn. And don't get frustrated. If you don't pass, probably you will not pass, right? But you have a bunch of other opportunities, and you will get the feedback, at least retrospective, right? You need to do your own feedback to understand how can I make it better the next time. And based on that, we rework. And it's not more than agile methodology in IT, right? Try, prepare, try, fail, feedback, prepare, try, success, right?
Yes, that's the secret of designing something good. You need like to test, see again, analyze, do again, and etc. So here's how you build a good product, but also a good professional. So yeah, very, very valuable information. Thanks so much, Matias, again. And we will be in touch. And please, like, never leave this community. Be around, like, be in touch with us, and we will be here. You will be always welcoming here for sure.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me.
Have a good one. Bye bye.
You too. Bye bye, community.
Thank you so much, guys.
Hello, guys. I don't know if you have some question for me for these 22 minutes that we have left on the table. Do you want to review or bring some profiles to take a look and to discuss together? All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Have a great start of the week, and we are seeing us around. Thank you. Bye-bye.